You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Are you ready to learn the 3 secrets to launching a successful podcast? Hi, I'm Bill, a recent client of the Podcast Mogul. If you've been thinking about starting a podcast but aren't sure where to begin, he's got you covered. He is hosting a free webinar where he will share the 3 secrets that can help you launch, grow, and monetize your podcast without any fancy equipment or technical headaches. Click the link in the show notes to save your spot now and let him help get your podcast off the ground.
Welcome to Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Join the Podcast Mogul Phil Better as he interviews successful entrepreneurs that make their living in the digital world. Now, let's join your host, Phil Better, and his special guest today on Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. I am, of course, Phil Better, the Podcast Mogul, and today I'm happy to have the founder of Dekaf Digital, Adriana Cowdin. Hi, Adriana. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. It's actually Adriana, but that's okay.
Adriana, I apologize.
It's a mouthful.
Yeah.
I mean, 4 syllables and just your first name is a lot.
Yes. I'm used to the 1 syllable. I'm lucky, Phil.
Yeah.
But Adriana, I have your impressive little bio that I asked you to fill out beforehand, and we talked a bit before we went live. But I would love for you just to introduce yourself to my audience and tell them about yourself.
Yeah. So my name's Adriana Cowdin. I live in Indianapolis, Indiana. I have lived here for the past 6 years now, almost 7 years, and originally from Chicago and lived in Denver for about 10 years. So I left corporate America as the chief digital marketing officer and chief marketing officer for both a manufacturing company and then a household name home security company, the big guy in the industry. I was also vice president of social and mobile marketing for Sears and Kmart back in the heyday. So I had about 150 brands and 30 business units. And so I founded Dekaf Digital 5 years ago this year. It's about 5.5 years old now, which is fantastic. We've passed that 5-year mark. And I've founded 3 other businesses. So this is my 4th business I'm founding. I founded one about 15 years ago that was focused on website design, mapping, structure, back when everyone had to have a website.
Yeah.
And so that was wonderful. My first business was called HR in a Box, which was HR forms, templates, and software for small businesses under 75 employees.
That's awesome.
And then I still own and operate a coaching business for executives and entrepreneurs. And that business I've had for 19 years.
Jeez.
I'm a busy person, but
You're
I love
busy
it.
bee, and I love it. Yeah. And on top of it, you're a published author.
I am.
Jeez.
I am. I do a lot of my executives talk to me about their career transition and the career mapping and promotions. And so I wrote a book called Career Sudoku, 9 Ways to Win the Job Search Game. And I'll give you a little tip. There is a Sudoku on the front of the book, a Sudoku puzzle. And I put all of my nephew's birthdays in the Sudoku puzzle. I had the designer put all of their birthdays in the puzzle.
Wow, that is next level secret. Oh my God.
Yeah.
The title is just alone is awesome.
Thank you.
Wow, you must be just filled with so much knowledge.
Well, I don't know how much I can get in this head of mine, but I certainly do my best to keep it going.
Wow, just the connections you must have made with your coaching business, helping so many. Wow, that is just wow. So your longest running one, would it be your coaching for the entrepreneurs?
Yes, absolutely.
So you've been in the industry about 20 years, this
Yes.
digital world for 20 years.
Yes.
What made you jump into that world?
Well,
this world?
interestingly enough, I was in corporate America living in Colorado, and I was working for Level 3 Communications, which, if people don't know, is kind of the provider's provider. They provide fiber essentially underneath the ocean for AT&T and the likes. And I was in training and development because I started my career in HR, which is why I started HR in a Box. And the senior vice president of marketing, a woman named Melody Reagan, came and said, I just need an A player to come over and run global Marcom. And I was like, I am not a marketeer. I am a professional in the network operations center doing training and development. So she badgered me for about 2 months solid. And finally I was like, okay, I'll give in and do it. And I mean, within a month, I was completely in love with marketing, completely in love with it.
Jeez, taking that risk, going from the comfort of everything into nothing. And it paid off in tenfold, 100-fold, I would say.
Absolutely. It's definitely what I love to do. So I owe that to Melody.
So what was your why? Like, what was the final selling point, I guess, from Melody to make you say, okay, yeah, I'm going to jump into this space?
So, I think for me, it was working with another really strong woman. I had been working in a department where there were just over 150 people and there were 2 women. And so while I enjoyed that and I learned a great deal from them, the idea of working for a strong woman who had really paved her way in a male-dominated industry was something that was really exciting. And then the ability to learn something totally new. I'm always up for learning something I know nothing about. So, just getting to learn from her everything about Marcom, which back then was like, that was 22 years ago, was like intranets were really big and, just digital smoke and mirrors is what I kind of describe it as for sales meetings. And then the other thing was the opportunity to have a global role. I had been focused on North America, and in my new role in global Marcom, I had all of Europe and Asia.
That's a huge transition as well, because it's a completely different market than
very different market, lots of travel. This was very, very, very pre-COVID, and and back when everyone flew around the world for meetings and working all kinds of crazy hours because Asia is a totally different time zone than us.
Yeah, I'm just so impressed. I have had another entrepreneur who's been in the industry about the same amount of time yourself, and he runs a startups incubator now out of France, as well as own a rugby team, because why not?
Why not?
Yeah, it's just another pastime, and it's just so impressive getting to talk to someone who's been in the industry for so long when I'm just starting out, and hearing about the difference, the change that has happened over the years.
Yeah, particularly digital marketing has shifted so much. We went from intranets to like email, but not really email marketing. And then everyone had to have a website. And then about 13, 14 years ago, Twitter popped up, and then everyone had to be on Twitter. Then the emergence of Facebook, which really hit businesses kind of around 2012 more than anything, 2015, in that range. And so it's just been a beautiful transition. I'm lucky that I work with some very young, talented people that keep up on things like the likes of Snapchat and TikTok, which I am not that great at.
Yeah.
I'm still oldie smoldy. I still stick to like Facebook and Twitter, although I do have Instagram too. But yeah, right.
Apparently, so I'm a geriatric millennial, so I'm like, why do I need, like, one of my clients has TikTok and he's blowing up, and I'm like, I could do it, but it's so much more work on top of everything I already have to do.
It's a lot of work.
It is.
And the funny thing is that, the good thing is that the TikTok Reels feed into Facebook now. So you can still see some of the activity and you can get more reach if you're on TikTok through feeding them into Facebook. But it is crazy. I can't keep up with all the.
Oh yeah, all the trends. No, I'm like, I'm still old school. I'll do this simple. I'll explain to you what I'm talking about. I'm not going to do a dance. I can't. No one should see me dance, first of all.
No one should see me dance either. I am the only Latino you will ever meet that cannot shake a beat. It is really sad. The only person that sees me dance is my husband, and he has a good time laughing at it.
Yeah, no, my exes did enjoy watching me dance, not in public, because in public it was like, please just stand there and move just step side to side. That's all you have to do.
Right. That old like junior high dance. Just put your hands on my shoulders and move side to side.
Just hold my hands. I'll lead. You just look like you're okay. I'm good. What has you since in your whole career, like you've been in a career longer than I've actually had my regular corporate career, but you must have had some amazing moments that stand out to you. Do you care to share maybe one or two of your favorite moments in your career to entice people over?
Yeah, so I'll share a couple. The first one is going to sound a little odd, but the first time Dekaf got sued, I was ecstatic. I was like, we're on the map. People know us. People are so threatened, they're suing us because it was for like infringement, which we did not do, by the way. We were cleared. But I was like,
I'm pretty sure I was sure it wasn't like, because that's not something you want to bring up and then being like, so we did do it.
Right. So we were guilty. No. So we were sued, and I was so ecstatic. The whole team was like, why are you so happy? And I'm like, because this means we've made it. No one sues a non-competitor. No one sues a little pimple. They don't do it. So I was very happy. So that's one. The second is I led the Kmart Ship My Pants experience, all of the digital experience for that at Kmart. My team and I did, and it blew up so massive. We delivered more impressions than a Super Bowl commercial. We had increased store sales. We got 4 Cannes Lion Awards. I mean, it was just remarkable. And it's not just because we won those awards or had those results. It's really because of the team effort that went behind it and the approach we took. So the company was very nervous to do Ship My Pants because it sounds like the swear word.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that was the whole point of it. And so we did really advanced social listening with reporting every hour on the hour, 24 hours a day for a 10-day period, and highly targeted it. And so we were able to take a campaign that was kind of questionable and really seed it through Facebook and Twitter and make it really blow up. And then it rolled out on TV. So it was a digital first campaign. It was a social first campaign that my team and I ran. And I'm still unbelievably proud of that.
And what's great is you built the foundation through the digital, and when it rolled out, everybody saw it, go back and already see that it has a huge imprint already on the digital, and they want to jump onto it. So you got that social proof. Just wow,
it was fabulous. It was just absolutely fabulous.
You're playing 4D chess over there.
I'm sorry.
You're playing 4D chess while everybody's playing regular chess.
It was crazy, like in the best possible way. And then I have one more, if I can share a third with you.
Oh, go ahead, share. This is for you.
So in 2015, I was diagnosed with pancreatic disease, progressive pancreatic disease. And that really led to the shift of leaving corporate America and opening my own business for good. Because I now have 10 chronic diseases, all progressive, some terminal, and have had 27 operations in the last 5 years. So being able to do that in a corporate world is just not sustainable. But when you build a team behind yourself that really is loyal to you because you treat them well and you pay them well and you value them, and you deal with clients who you love and clients who you enjoy, and you're good at what you do, you can totally manage anything. Yeah. Absolutely anything.
That's insane. Already so much on your plate just as an entrepreneur. Like, let's throw on the personal life. Wow. Jesus, that's amazing. I'm speechless. I do want to talk about the team building, because that's such an important part of an entrepreneurial's life, building the team so that they can actually then step away from the business if need to face these personal stuff. How did you go about building that your first team to help you out?
Well, I'll tell you, my biggest failure was my biggest lesson in team building. So I was really lucky that I took some advanced management and leadership courses through Harvard Business School. So I learned from some of the best on how to do it. But then I had been building teams in corporate America since, the late 90s. So I had a decent amount of experience doing it. Doing it on your own is different. So what I did first was hire a virtual assistant that was based offshore. That was a big failure. I learned very quickly, not as quickly as I should have, that there's communication barriers, there's internet challenges, there's all kinds of things. And that's not to say you can't offshore some things, but my experience was not good. Mm-hmm. So I moved to hiring only local to the US people. And because I was so flexible in my approach, I hired anywhere in the country well before COVID ever started. So I didn't restrict myself to just my geography, which would have been really hard because Indianapolis does not have a big digital footprint in terms of talent. So, I really expanded geographically to find the best talent. And then I pay them well and I treat them really, really well. I mean, I send thank you notes, I send gifts, I send their spouses thank yous, I send them things for their kids. I really treat them like they're a person, not an employee, because I think of them as an extension of our family.
I love that. And I love seeing the shift more and more because we hear about the shortage of workers mm-hmm. in all these roles, but it's not a shortage of workers where it's just this generation is just fed up of being treated like you said, an employee, a replaceable piece, and having entrepreneurs like yourself treat and show like, hey, you can work for me and it's going to be great. I'm not going to treat you like a number.
Right. And I have the best interest of them in mind. So some of them are just happy doing what they want to do and don't want to grow any further in their career in terms of progression. So we are very happy keeping them in their role. Mm-hmm. Others of them are still on their growth trajectory. And so I mentor and coach them like any good business owner, entrepreneur, or leader should, and try and expand their skill set within the business so that I don't lose them. So I expand their responsibilities and their skill sets so I can maintain their work in Dekaf Digital, without losing them to a competitor.
Yeah, because the better they do, the more money you'll end up making. And eventually they'll be like, oh, I want to go off on my own. And you can be like, well, I can help seed that business and have another source of revenue, but also another crown in your hat. That's
right. And it's very good for them. I always want to allow whoever I'm working with to perform to the best of their capabilities, right? Like you said, it's only good for the company. It's only good for the business. And it's great for our customers. Our customers love working with us because everyone's happy. They're all satisfied. They're not curmudgeony or waiting to get back on email for 3 days. I mean, we get told all the time how responsive we are. And I love that about our team.
Yeah, they love their job, so they're going to give it 110% every day, and plus they know their boss is going to have their back for whatever. If they need something, it's like, I'm kind of jealous. You're the boss. Everybody
work for us, Phil.
Alrighty, that's how you get new jobs. My new podcast, How to Get Hired by just interviewing people.
Yeah.
So I do want to try and get a tip for people jumping into the entrepreneurial space, because you've been able to, like you said, with your coaching, talk with so many entrepreneurs in the world and coach them to being better. What is maybe one common thread you see entrepreneurials have, and maybe that's something our listeners can gauge themselves to see if they have that spark or trait?
Yeah, I would say the most common thread, and something I recommend for any entrepreneur, is just sheer grit, because this is not for the weak of heart or the faint at heart. This is hard stuff. I mean, building a business is not easy. It is not like you open a business and all of a sudden you're a multimillionaire. It doesn't, nope. Or the other thought, you can take all kinds of vacation time. I mean, I'm trying to squeeze out a 4-day vacation coming up over the Thanksgiving weekend, and right now have 3 meetings booked anyways. It's just not what people think it is. So you have to have grit. You have to be able to stick to your path, know what your niche is, and know where your customers are and go where they are. It is not easy, but it is absolutely rewarding if you put in the work.
I love it, because it is true. I'm still early in my entrepreneurial journey, and it is a lot of grit. It is a lot of clawing and just trying your hardest. Plus, I'm doing two things at once, building a business while building up podcasts. So it's even crazier in seeing how much grit you actually need to do this in the content creation world. What's next? What's next for you?
So a couple things. Dekaf Digital is going to go global next year. So I'm very excited about that. We have a new customer that's based in Japan that should be onboarding in January. So we'll be covering Asia and Europe, and then the US for them. So that's very exciting. So that's kind of what's next for the business. What's next for me is to always continue on my journey of health and getting better. I'm on a streak of working out like 24 days in a row, which is a huge win for me. So, just continuing to build up strength so that when I do have attacks of these different diseases, I can bounce back quicker.
There we go. Is there another book in the pipeline?
I get asked that a lot. There is.
Yes.
And I started working on it last year. And it's more of a memoir, which I thought was kind of weird to write in my mid-40s. I was like, I'm not old enough for a memoir. But
you've lived a life that most people in their 40s
so working with my editor, she was like, well, I think you are. And I will tell you, it's very confronting to write a memoir because there are things in there you have to include that not everyone's going to love. Some people are going to like it more than others in your family and your support system in particular. And it's also confronting because I have had so many setbacks and surgeries and diseases and stuff in the last 5 years in particular that it's hard for me to go back and relive all of those memories. So I expect this one is going to take, my last one took me about 2 years. I expect this one's going to take probably a good 2 or 3 years.
Well, I'm excited to read it. I'm also excited to pick up your new book, and we're going to find out where we can pick it up at the end. We're coming to the last question here that I have for you, and it is a book related because I love reading, and getting your books are going to be awesome. But one book you would suggest for the entrepreneurs listening here, either to help them start or if they're in their journey, what book would you suggest for them to read?
So this is kind of an older book, but I still think it's a good one. And it's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. I had the pleasure of I've read that book several times, but I also brought someone in to teach the 7 habits to a team that I was leading back in the late 90s, mid 90s. It's just everything from, being able to say no to a bigger yes, keeping the end in mind. I even use the tactics still, some of the techniques still with my coaching clients. So I think that the 7 habits are so well done that even without a kind of an update on them, they are really habits that if you live and you eat and sleep and breathe and are ingrained in them, you'll do very, very well, regardless of what kind of role you're in, corporate or entrepreneur.
Awesome. No, it's not the first time I've heard entrepreneurs suggest that book. So I know how important it is. I just finished Atomic Habits, which is an amazing book as well. So I'm jumping over to the 7 habits very shortly because it's going to help build them together. I'm going to jump off screen here, Adriana. I'm going to allow you to have the last 5 minutes. Let us know where we can find you, connect with you so that if we're interested in learning more, we can. So the floor is yours.
Thank you. If you would like to pick up a copy of Career Sudoku, 9 Ways to Win the Job Search Game, you can go to Amazon.com. It's on there. It's 5-star rated. And to connect with me on LinkedIn. You can find me at Adriana Cowdin, or connect with me on my website, adrianacowdin.com, which is ADrianacowdin.com. Or you can always find me through Dekaf Digital, which is decafdigital.com, and it's DEKAF. So thank you so much. I look forward to hearing more from each one of the listeners.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Adriana, for being a guest here and sharing your amazing journey as an entrepreneur in the digital space. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, the links will be in the show notes down below to connect with her. And I do suggest you guys go ahead and pick up her book. It is looking very good. I can't wait to read it. I bought the Kindle edition so I can get right away reading it. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you again for listening. Adriana, thank you. You were an amazing guest, and it was so fun talking with you.
Thank you so much. It was really my pleasure.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, remember, as I always say at the end of these show, invest in yourself. Hey, everybody, I want to thank you so much for watching the show and listening to the podcast. As a thank you, remember, you can always head over to my website, fulbetterinc.com, and get free 15 minutes with me to talk about how you can grow your podcast, how to monetize your podcast, or even how to start your podcast. I have helped lots of people, and I want to help you do the same for your business or just for your personal brand. So again, that is fulbetterinc.com. Head over there, book your free 15 minutes, and it'll be a pleasure to help you out. Have a good night, and remember to invest in yourself.
Thanks for tuning in. Now it's time to take the next step. When you're ready to dive deeper into how to launch, grow, and monetize your podcast, Phil's got something special for you. Join him for a free webinar where he'll reveal the 3 secrets that have helped countless entrepreneurs succeed in podcasting. Click the link in the show notes to save your spot, and let's turn your podcasting dreams into reality.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.